And welcome everyone to our Wednesday news hour, where we hear from changemakers and their teams from around the world about timely topics and solutions. My name is Shafaq Khan, and I'm part of the Ashoka team calling in from London, England. We're thrilled to have many of you joining today from Ashoka's global community, and a big welcome to those joining from Dola's community. For the next 30 minutes, we'll be hearing from Dola, an Ashoka young changemaker from Bangladesh, about how young changemakers are building a Bangladesh free of child marriage. Before we get started though, just a few points of housekeeping. So first, we'd love to hear from you as we move along in this interview. So please feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We'll try to get to as many as we can in the second half of our conversation. And for those who wish to use captioning, you can select the three dots that say more at the bottom corner of your Zoom screen, and then select show subtitles. Give everyone a second just to breathe. And cool. So to get started, I'd love to introduce today's guest. Since Dola was 10 years old, she was already determined to combat child marriage by volunteering with local nonprofits, to support child rights, and also build her network. Her team so far has identified parents' perception and their outlook on marriage as an underlying cause, determining a clear need to work alongside parents to shift their culture. Now, she started her own initiative, End Child Marriage, with a diverse team of 13 peers, conducting workshops with parents, students, and school leaders about child rights, as well as organizing street plays to generate public awareness. So far, the team has conducted over 40 workshops in schools and awareness sessions with parents, along with 15 street plays. Through this powerful work, Dola and her team have witnessed a slow but consistent mindset shift among parents in their community. Recently, Dola and her team, in partnership with World Vision, launched a global campaign to call on governments around the world to ban child marriage, implement existing laws, and fund services to prevent and respond to child marriage. Dola, it's an absolute pleasure to be with you today. How are you?
Hi, yes, I'm good. How are you? And I'm so much excited for this wonderful webinar as well.
Yeah, thank you for joining. So I'm sure our audience is really excited and can't wait to hear from you. So I'll jump in, right, for my first question to you, which is, based on the latest data from UNICEF, over 50% of Bangladeshi women who are now in their mid-20s were married before they turned 18. And nearly 18% were below 15 years of age. Child marriage, which is marriage before the age of 18, is a human rights violation. And despite laws against it, the harmful practice remains widespread. Dola, I'm curious, from your being an expert in the field, why do we constantly see this happening? What is broken in the system?
So thank you so much, guys, for this question. And I want to say one thing, like in few minutes, it's not possible to describe all the problems in this conversation. So I would like to highlight some major problems. What is the actual cause for right now in child marriage? So one of the most thing is like that when we go to the field for working on child marriage, we see that parents are not educated. Actually, they don't know about the bad effect, or they don't know like what kind of bad effect will be happen if her or his child get married at the early age. So this one is the first cause, and second one is the cause is like that in Bangladesh, people have 5 or 4 children in their families. So sometimes it's not possible to bear the overall cost of their children education cost to maintain the family. So that's why sometimes we can see that families are not financially stable, and that's why they think that if they give child marriage or if they get married to the children, then maybe the financial burden will be increased. So this is one of the like cause. And third one is like that some people still now think that girls are burden on them. So they thought that if what will be happen if her girl or his girl is studying, and what will be happen like if her girls will not get married at the very early age. So they are thinking like if girls are now become a burden on them, so they should give marriage of their children. So this is our right now the current situation or current reason for the child marriage in Bangladesh. So there are lots of reason is there. So I think this is one kind of the major problem for the child marriage.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And what an insight into the work that's actually happening on the ground. And Dola, my next question is, one of the major barricades to stopping child marriage is often poverty and low literacy, as you just mentioned. But evidence suggests that child marriage is practiced across all backgrounds and social divides. So I'm curious, how did you get involved in trying to tackle this issue? And can you share an example of how you've stopped a child marriage from actually taking place?
So first of all, the thing is like that government is playing a very vital role for like ending child marriage. Like government are doing lots of campaigns, lots of awareness session in the local level, and also there is a helpline number for the child marriage when someone is a victim of child marriage, so they can use the helpline number. So this is what right now government is doing. So another thing is I believe that improve the situation, the government should place some kind of strict rules. So we have a law, but we don't have the proper implementation. So to end child marriage, I think we need the proper implementation of the law. And besides this, who are working like us in Bangladesh to end child marriage? So government and every police stations or local government should play a more supportive role to us, because by getting their support, we are right now working in the field. If we don't get support from them, then it's become a little bit tough for us to end child marriage, because family or peoples are not want to hear from the children all the time. They thought like we got children and what can we do. So when they see that there is a police force or some kind of powerful person with us, then they thought like yes, something is wrong, and I think they should think about that. And before the pandemic, my team used to work actively in the field to end child marriage or making the awareness session or something like that. But during this pandemic, it was become a tough for us to move or to go to the field level, because you know that we have restriction to stay at the home. So few days ago during this pandemic, I have got a call from one of my child from leaders who is live in a remote area. So when she called me, she told me that there is a child marriage will be happen in her area. So what she can do. So it was not possible for me to travel for his district, and because it's so much far from my home, so it maybe take one day to go that venue. So I was thought like how I can help him. So I told him to call in the national helpline number and to try to connect with the police. So when she called in the national helpline number, the caller have connected with her with the local government, and the local police went to the venue with him. And when my friend went the venue, then she was becomes a little bit scared, because that was the first time when she is stopping a child marriage alone. So that time my friend were talk with the families, because it was so much important for us to make awareness in the families, because family is a play a vital role to end child marriage. If family is agree to give the child marriage, sometimes it's difficult for us to motivate them or give some kind of motivational things. So when my friend was talking with the parents, so they were saying like that, no, if my boy or if my girl get sexually abused or some kind of violence get happen, then who will take the responsibility? Do you take the responsibility? So she was saying lots of things. So my friend immediately called me and tell me like, Dola, this kind of thing is happening. The family is not going to agree with us. So what we can do? I told him like that, give the phone to me. I want to talk with the family. So when I talk with the victim's mom, so I said him, Auntie, when you get married, what was your age? So auntie said me like I'll get a marriage in early age. So it's the tradition in Bangladesh, because if you born to get married, being a girl, you born to get married, and you have to maintain a family. So what you can do by studying or etc. So I told him like that from your childhood you are maintaining a family. If same tradition is going to happen in the same law, then how the change will come? So if in future your girl become a doctor or lawyer, it's a proud moment for you. So I think today if you give her child marriage, then her children will do the same thing. So now decision is yours. What do you want? Then the aunties tell me that give me some time, so I will think about that. And also police give a lots of support to us, which they have talked with the family. They show them the laws, then what kind of punishment they can get. So successfully we are able to stop that child marriage. And I'm so much thankful to Bangladesh government and Bangladesh police, because sometimes they play so much positive roles to us. That's why we are able to stop since 2018 to 2019 more than 600 child marriage. So it's the biggest opportunity or biggest thing for us, because they were supportive and we are thinking like we are doing some kind of outstanding work. That's why we're right now success.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for that insight. And what a powerful example of working with allies, right? Working with people who are meant to support you and finding allies within that. And I just want to remind, I think it's important to know that obviously Dola's work is in Bangladesh, but really this is a global issue. And we see during the pandemic that global child marriage numbers are increasing daily. So Dola, my next question to you is, you mentioned your friend, right, who was scared, and it's a very scary thing to have to do. So what gives you the courage to keep going? Because are there people who are not happy with what you're trying to do, and does that affect you negatively?
Basically when you do a good work in a community or some kind of places, we'll face many barriers, and it's a common thing, not only for me, it's for everyone. So when we are going to do any kind of good work, lots of barriers will come. So if we can overcome it, then I think it's called sustainable change or something like that. So one of recent story I can share, like few days ago, you know that I am working as a brand ambassador with World Vision for the Just Married campaign. So I'm trying to promote their posters and everything. I'm writing some kind of features and every kind of stuff. So when I do this kind of thing, one of my teacher were like commenting in my post like, you are like ending child marriage. So what about the adult relationship children are doing? They are going to room dates and they are doing lots of stuff. So why you are not working on that? So this thing first of all demotivate me a lot. I was thinking like actually I'm doing the right thing, or I'm doing the wrong thing. So I was just confused about that. Then I have talked with like, you know that I have talked with you, and also I have talked with some of my couple of friends. So they were saying like that, say, you are not wrong. If you are wrong, then the government will never implement the law and they don't sign the agreement with the UN. So I was thinking like that I should reply my teacher. So when I go to the comment box, I told him like that, you have find out a problem in my work. So why you are not working with that? I don't have the all responsibility to solve all the problems of the world. I have find out the problem, so I am working on that. You have find out the problem, you should take it as a passion and you should work on that. Then the work change will come, because all the responsibility are not in my own shoulders. So you should also work on it. So my teacher didn't reply me yet now. So I think this time sometimes this kind of negative things really badly impact on our mind. But just because of I am a change maker, I am motivating myself in my way. So sometimes it demotivated me and sometimes it give me courage to move on. Just because of my teachers asked me this kind of question, I was able to answer it properly. I think lots of uh, community level peoples have this kind of question in their mind. So this is one kind of way to give the correct answers and share the one kind of positive vibes to them.
I love that. Hear their negativity and send positive vibes. What a great way to summarize that. And that, I think that's a great transition into my next question for you, Dola, is you talk about like how you're working with people, how you're working with friends, inspiring other people. But what gives you hope right now? And what would a Bangladesh free of child marriage look like?
So for my work, my mom used to give me lots of positive vibes, and till now she's supporting me a lot because I think family is a one kind of shelter for me, and it's like a tree for me. She is giving me like shelter, and that's why I'm growing in my own way. So beside this, one of the most thing give me a hope is government. So when I was thinking, first of all, when I started my journey, I was thought when I get lots of kind of like negative vibes. People are saying I'm doing unethical work and I'm not doing the right thing. They were giving me lots of threats as well. So I was become mentally broken, and also I was become so much frustrated as well. So when I see that government is implementing the law, they have national helpline number, that there is a ministry who are working against of it. So that thing gave me positive vibes, and I thought like government is doing lots of work on it. So why not me? Government can change the world by their own self. If people and the not general people is supportive to them, then the change will come. We are talking about sustainable development goals. Government can't alone implement that. So together we need to work for it, and together we need to find out the way how we can make a beautiful world. And I think that if me and my team are like us who are working against of child marriage or any kind of social problem, so they need some kind of positive vibes from NGOs or government or INGOs, because positive vibes gives us energy to move our work properly or move our work smoothly. And I believe that one day Bangladesh will be free from child marriage, and in the national or international level, Bangladesh will be one kind of role model to end child marriage. And inshallah, me or my team members who are working for that, we will be like they are playing a role as a fighter. And child marriage is a war for us, and we are the warriors.
I have goosebumps right now. This is awesome. So I am aware that there are questions coming in from the audience, and please keep them coming. So the first question, Dola, I'll just read it out, is how many districts are you covering? In terms of how many districts do you have teams in? Or are you only covering one district in one region?
So when I started my journey since when I was 10 years old, so at that time I was working in one area. So I see that like one of World Vision is our mentorship. They are giving us one kind of technical support. So from them we see that they have built a national child forum. So there are 88,000 children working with us. So our team also is under of National Child Forum. So right now in 34 districts with the collaboration with National Child Forum, working in Bangladesh to ending child marriage or for child rights and child protection.
Wow, cool. Okay, the second question is, how important do you think it has been that this change is being led by young people like you? Like, what is the unique perspective that you as a young person are bringing?
So as a young person, it's like working in Bangladesh. So it's a little bit important for me, because I always believe one thing like that young person have one kind of energy what don't any kind of older person have. We just see one thing like today we are doing a conversation between us. So it's given lots of positive vibes or energy to others. If there is a one kind of old person or someone who is a 35 or 34 years old, and nobody take it like as an interesting way. So it's very important to play a vital role for the young person in their own ways or own communities to bring the changes. So I think everyone should work for what kind of problems they are finding in their other communities. So they should take it as a passion, and they should find out the solution how they can work on it.
That's all. And Dola, just follow-up question. Do you think it's harder because you're a young person working on this? And if an adult worked on this, would it be easier for them?
It's basically being a young person is harder for me, and also is easier for me, because there is a lots of opportunity and lots of way for working on the social problems. Like there is a one kind of opportunity in Ashoka. If I have any idea, then I can submit here. I can get the mentorship. I can get the one kind of support from Ashoka. So like Ashoka, there is a lots of kind of NGOs or some kind of national organization is there who will give the support. So being a youth or being a teenager, it's a one kind of easy for me. But when I went to the implement level in the field or any kind of slum areas or remote areas, it's become tough for me because they thought like, hey, these kind of teeny people or this kind of like baby children, how what they can do? Like they don't have any kind of power or they don't have any kind of good conscience in the government. So it's become hard for us when we implement it in the field level, but it's become easy when we have any idea or when we want to share it with any kind of national or international NGOs. So it's also easy for us and also it's hard for us.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that insight. And lastly, Dola, how are you taking care of your mental health? This is a huge conversation amongst changemakers that because you're doing such impactful work, it's also important to take care of yourself. So how do you take care of yourself?
I think right now what I am or what I'm doing is because of my work. That as like Ashoka know me for my work. So sometimes when I get lots of threat or lots of challenges from my community, so it's you have no idea how much it's break a person mentally. Sometimes it's like push me in the depression. I fall in depression and I was thinking like that I should reduce this kind of work. I should stop it and I should sit on the home. No, nothing I need to do. But sometimes when I thought that like if I stop right now working, then who will work? Because we are saying like that today's children are the future. Then how the future will come? If I sit on the home, like if I get right now married at the earliest, then I have to maintain a family. I have to take care of my children or my babies. Then how I will think about the world? We are talking about like we need to make everyone as a change maker or everyone is a change maker. So I am a change maker, but when I get the responsibility of a family or I have to maintain the family, then how I will work? And one kind of empathy is growing in my mind that my mom also get married at the early age. So when I asked my mom that share your childhood memory, she was not able to share with me anything. So when I think about this kind of stuff, depression just get out from my mind and I get lots of positive vibes to work for it or work for any kind of problem. So I think depression will come in our life, but we need to find out the way how we can reduce it because it's not going to stay in our life for the long term. So we need to think about like how we can reduce it. We should talk with any kind of person who is like so much friendly with us. So I think this kind of way we can like reduce.
Yeah. Wow. So powerful, right? Like if we're not doing it, who's going to do it? Right? That's a great point. Now I'm looking at time and I don't know how fast our conversation just went, but I have one more question, Dola, is fortunately we have a lot of young viewers as well, young people who are seeing this conversation. What would you say to the young people who are watching this and want to build this future that you're talking about?
So I would like to say one thing to every young person or teenagers, like whenever you see any kind of problem, if it is small, try to work on it. Or first of all, you need to grow the empathy. Like right now, I'm seeing a problem of the climate change. Why it's a problem? I need to find out the way, and also I need to think about that how I can solve it or how I can work on it. So first of all, need to grow up the empathy because I believe that every leader should have empathy in their own self. So when you grow the empathy on us, because Ashoka said that also, like every leader should have empathy on their self. So first of all, need to grow empathy on yourself and try to solve any kind of problem which is small, but try to make it a solution, bring a solution and work on it. And one thing I believe that if everyone can work, then the change will come. We are talking about to make a world beautiful for every girls or make safe a world for girls or boys or any person. But how? Not only me or Shafayat Bai can done this work. We need to work together. So if we can work together, then the change will come. not a alone person can all the stuff can do. See, my teacher said me that why you are not working on adult relationship, room dates, abortion, etc., etc. But I don't take all the responsibilities. You guys also can work on it, right? So I think it's important for us to work together.
That's brilliant. Every person should find their passion and act to solve it. Dola, thank you so much for your time. This has been one of the best conversations that I've been a part of, and you inspire me every day. You inspire, I'm sure the audience is incredibly moved and touched by your story, but also are trying to find their passions and going after how they can be a change maker. Do you have any last words for the audience? Anything you want to leave them with?
I think last word for every audience or every change maker is that grow empathy on yourself, because for sympathy is one of the teeny thing, but when you grow empathy on yourself, then you can realize that how much it's painful or how much it need to work. See, when someone is a victim of rape, we can't realize the pain how she has faced. So I think it's important for every leaders or every young change maker to grow empathy on yourself and believe that you are a change maker. You can bring a change in your home, in your community, in your country.
That's awesome. And with that, thank you so much for everyone for joining. Look out for a follow-up email with a link to today's recordings and highlights to browse and share. We really want to make sure that this conversation reaches as many people as possible. We hope you'll join us next time. Welcome Change is a weekly series about the future we want to live in and the role we can all play. Our next conversation is coming up on trans liberation in honor of Pride Month. You can sign up at the link, I believe it's in the chat. But yes, thank you again for joining, and we'll see you next time.